Have you ever wondered how small gestures can spark global speculation? For Melania Trump, every move under the spotlight became a viral moment. From swatting away Donald Trump's hand to subtle expressions that spoke louder than words, her public appearances left the world buzzing. Were these just missteps, or did they reveal more about her life as First Lady? What do these moments say about her dynamic with Donald? Let's dive into the first of 15 unforgettable incidents that prove even the most composed public figures can't avoid the occasional cringeworthy moment. 1. The hat that blocked the kiss. The year was 2025, and Donald Trump was back in the spotlight for his second inauguration as President of the United States. While all eyes were on the Capitol steps, an unexpected moment stole the show. As the newly inaugurated president leaned in to kiss his wife, Melania's wide-brimmed navy hat took center stage, literally blocking the kiss. The moment, which was caught from multiple angles, quickly went viral online. The hat's dramatic brim forced Donald to awkwardly adjust, landing an air kiss that looked more like a miss than an affectionate gesture. Social media couldn't get enough, with one user joking, "Melania's hat might just have been her best defense mechanism yet." This wasn't just a sartorial faux pas. It symbolized the recurring theme of perceived distance between the couple during public appearances. The scene was a reminder of how even the smallest accessories could create big headlines. As the ceremony continued, Melania maintained her stoic demeanor, but the internet buzzed with commentary about the hat that blocked the kiss moment. The viral exchange set the tone for the rest of the inauguration day, but this was just the beginning of the awkwardness that lay ahead. 2. The Commander-in-Chief Ball Dance. As the inaugural celebrations continued into the evening, another moment managed to overshadow the grandeur of the event. At the Commander-in-Chief Ball, Donald and Melania Trump took to the stage for their ceremonial first dance. Dressed in a sleek white gown with an off-the-shoulder design, Melania appeared picture-perfect. Yet, what unfolded during their dance was anything but. The music began, and the couple swayed stiffly to "I Will Always Love You," but the chemistry felt noticeably absent. Melania kept her posture rigid, maintaining a visible distance from her husband. Her expressions veered between polite smiles and moments of apparent discomfort, leading observers to wonder if she wished to be anywhere else. As Donald sang along to the music and waved to the audience, Melania seemed disconnected, focused only on getting through the dance. Social media quickly weighed in on the spectacle, with one user tweeting, "Melania's face during the dance looks like she just got assigned a group project with someone she doesn't like." Expert commentary wasn't far behind. Body language analysts noted the lack of intimacy between the pair, describing the interaction as more performative than heartfelt. Despite the awkwardness, the couple completed the dance, and Donald continued to bask in the crowd's applause. For Melania, however, this moment added another layer of scrutiny to an already eventful day. What could have been a celebration of unity became yet another viral moment for the internet to dissect. 3. The Inaugural Ball Backlash. The awkwardness didn't end at the Commander-in-Chief Ball. Later that evening, Melania's demeanor at the inaugural ball attracted even more criticism. The event was designed to be a glamorous affair, a celebration of victory and the start of a new chapter. Yet, as the cameras captured the couple on the ballroom floor, it became clear that Melania wasn't playing the part of the joyful First Lady. Dressed impeccably once again, Melania's body language told a different story. She maintained a noticeable distance from Donald, her movements restrained and calculated. At one point, she appeared to subtly pull back as he leaned in, a fleeting moment that wasn't lost on eagle-eyed viewers. Observers were quick to comment on how their interactions seemed more transactional than affectionate. Critics latched onto the footage, with some accusing Melania of being visibly disengaged from the event's emotional tone. One prominent commentator wrote, "For someone in the spotlight, she seems remarkably uninterested in the role she's supposed to play." The backlash wasn't just limited to her body language. Some critics questioned why Melania didn't make an effort to bridge the perceived emotional gap between herself and her husband. Others, however, defended her, suggesting that the immense pressure of public appearances could account for her reserved behavior. As the night wore on, the internet buzzed with memes, commentary, and endless speculation about the couple's relationship. For Melania, the inaugural ball wasn't just a night of celebration. It became yet another moment where her every move was dissected under the public microscope. 4. The SWAT herd around the world. In May 2017, during their visit to Israel, Donald and Melania Trump disembarked from Air Force One to a warm diplomatic welcome. As they walked across the red carpet, Donald extended his hand toward Melania, presumably for a public display of unity. What happened next, however, became one of the most viral moments of their time as the first couple. Rather than reciprocate the gesture, Melania was caught swatting Donald's hand away in a swift yet unmistakable motion. The exchange, captured by multiple cameras, quickly made its way to social media, where it was dissected frame by frame. One viewer commented, "That swat wasn't just a no, it was a statement." Body language experts jumped into the fray, offering various interpretations of the gesture. Some believed it was a reflexive reaction to an unexpected touch, while others speculated it hinted at deeper tensions in their relationship. Regardless of the intent, the hand swat became an instant meme. Users on Twitter began circulating captions like, "When your group project partner tries to take credit for your work." Critics were quick to highlight how this moment fit into a larger narrative about the couple's apparent lack of closeness in public. Supporters of the Trumps, however, brushed it off as over-analysis, arguing that such small moments shouldn't be magnified. Despite the swirl of speculation and humor, Melania carried on with the diplomatic visit as though nothing had happened. Yet this fleeting moment, just a few seconds in length, cemented itself as one of the most unforgettable and telling interactions of their tenure. 5. The RNC speech similarity. Going back to July 2016, Melania Trump took the stage at the Republican National Convention for what was supposed to be her grand debut as a supportive spouse and future First Lady. Dressed elegantly and speaking in measured tones, she delivered a speech about family values, hard work, and her admiration for American ideals. However, it wasn't long before sharp-eared viewers noticed something startlingly familiar about her words. As clips of Melania's speech circulated online, comparisons were drawn to Michelle Obama's 2008 Democratic National Convention address. Entire phrases such as "you work hard for what you want in life" were nearly identical to Michelle's earlier speech. The internet erupted with accusations of plagiarism, with users jokingly dubbing it the copy-paste convention. The backlash was swift, and the Trump campaign scrambled to control the damage. Eventually, the blame was placed on a speechwriter, Meredith McIver, who issued a public apology. McIver explained that Melania admires Michelle Obama and had shared excerpts of her 2008 speech as inspiration, which were mistakenly incorporated into the final draft. While the explanation calmed some critics, the incident cast a long shadow over Melania's debut. For many, it reinforced perceptions of the Trumps as a family willing to cut corners for appearances. Memes flooded social media, with one saying, "Michelle Obama writes it, Melania recites it." Despite the controversy, Melania maintained her composure and continued her role in the campaign. Yet the speech's similarity remains one of the most discussed moments of her public life, setting the tone for how her tenure as First Lady would be viewed. 6. The Inauguration Day smile. The date was January 20, 2017, and the world watched as Donald Trump was sworn in as the 45th President of the United States. The historic event was filled with grand speeches, patriotic music, and ceremonial traditions. But amidst all the pageantry, one fleeting moment between Donald and Melania Trump would become one of the day's most talked about incidents. As the couple stood side by side during the inauguration, Donald turned to Melania with a smile. She returned the gesture, but as soon as he turned back toward the crowd, her face shifted. The warm smile disappeared, replaced by a neutral, almost somber expression. Cameras caught the abrupt change, and it wasn't long before social media lit up with commentary and memes. The internet dubbed her Sad Melania, with one user tweeting, "Her smile disappeared faster than a magician's rabbit." Others speculated about her emotional state, interpreting her expression as a glimpse into her feelings about the day or her relationship with Donald. Body language experts analyzed the footage, noting how quickly Melania's demeanor shifted and suggesting it might reflect deeper emotions she couldn't mask. Defenders of the First Lady argued that the moment was overblown, pointing out that standing in front of millions of viewers is bound to feel overwhelming. Yet, the viral nature of the clip ensured it became one of the defining images of the inauguration. While the day was filled with formalities and historical significance, this brief interaction gave the public a glimpse of something more personal. The inauguration's smile moment would go on to be a cornerstone of discussions about Melania's body language throughout her time as First Lady. 7. The umbrella incident. Fast forward to October 15, 2018, when the Trumps were leaving the White House for yet another public engagement. It was raining that morning, and as the couple walked toward Marine One, Donald Trump held a large black umbrella over himself. Melania, along with their son Barron, followed close behind, but noticeably without the same protection from the rain. The visual was impossible to ignore. Donald remained under the umbrella, seemingly unaware of his wife and son trailing behind in the drizzle. The scene sparked immediate reactions on social media, with one user quipping, "Chivalry isn't dead, but Trump sure seems to have misplaced it." Another added, "Donald Trump protecting his hair more than his family. Classic." Critics saw the moment as emblematic of Donald's self-focused nature, pointing out that it wouldn't have taken much effort to share the umbrella or wait for Melania to catch up. Some commentators even framed it as a metaphor for their relationship dynamics, suggesting it highlighted the lack of attentiveness between the pair. Melania, as always, maintained her poise, walking briskly and without complaint. But the internet was less forgiving, as memes and jokes continued to pour in. One particularly viral image superimposed a thought bubble over Melania's head reading, "I married this guy?" While it was just a few seconds of footage, the umbrella incident added to a growing list of viral moments that symbolized the complex and often awkward public dynamic between Donald and Melania. It was a small moment, but one that, like many others, refused to go unnoticed. 8. The national anthem nudge. On April 17, 2017, the Trumps hosted the annual White House Easter egg roll, a festive event for children and families. Amid the playful atmosphere and Easter-themed activities, a small but unforgettable moment unfolded during the opening ceremony. As the national anthem began to play, Donald Trump stood next to Melania and their young son Barron, but something seemed off. Donald forgot to place his hand over his heart. As Melania stood dutifully with her hand on her chest, she noticed her husband's oversight. Without hesitation, she gave him a subtle nudge, gesturing for him to follow suit. Donald quickly corrected his posture, placing his hand over his heart, but the moment had already been captured on camera. Social media erupted, with many praising Melania for quietly correcting the president, while others joked about the awkwardness of needing such a reminder. One viral tweet read, "Melania, keeping Trump presidential, one nudge at a time." Another quipped, "Even Melania knows the basics of being POTUS better than Trump." The footage circulated widely, with people dissecting Melania's quick reflexes and her composed expression during the nudge. Body language experts commented that the gesture showed Melania's awareness of public appearances and protocol, even in high-pressure situations. Some interpreted it as a subtle power dynamic, where she felt the need to step in and take charge of the situation. Others saw it as a lighthearted moment of teamwork, demonstrating how the couple worked together despite public perceptions of detachment. While the event was meant to celebrate Easter, the anthem nudge became the day's defining moment. It highlighted Melania's poise and willingness to correct her husband when necessary, cementing yet another viral memory in the archive of their public interactions. 9. The handholding rejection in Rome. A little over a month later, on May 23, 2017, the Trumps arrived in Rome during their first international trip as the first couple. The red carpet was rolled out as they descended the steps of Air Force One, greeted by officials and dignitaries. Yet, despite the grandeur of the moment, all eyes soon turned to another awkward interaction between Donald and Melania. As the couple began walking toward their hosts, Donald reached out to hold Melania's hand. In a moment that lasted just a second but spoke volumes, she appeared to subtly pull her hand away, opting instead to adjust her hair. The swift rejection did not go unnoticed, as cameras captured the interaction from multiple angles. Within hours, the footage had gone viral, with viewers around the world dissecting the brief but telling exchange. Social media lit up with reactions. One user joked, "Melania's hand is more elusive than my Wi-Fi signal." Another quipped, "The air between their hands could write a better love story than Twilight." Commentators and body language experts offered differing interpretations. Some suggested Melania's move was an intentional rejection, a signal of frustration or independence. Others believed it was a practical choice, perhaps she simply didn't want to deal with sweaty palms on a humid day. Whatever the reasoning, the imagery added to the narrative of a couple whose public dynamic often felt distant or awkward. Despite the viral attention, Melania carried on with her duties, greeting officials with her signature grace and composure. But for the internet, the hand-holding rejection became another defining moment of their public life, fueling endless speculation about their relationship. 10. The Tiffany box exchange. On January 20, 2017, Donald and Melania Trump arrived at the White House to meet outgoing President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama before the inauguration ceremony. As part of the traditional transition of power, the Trumps posed for photographs with the Obamas on the White House steps. While this moment should have gone smoothly, an unexpected gift from Melania added an awkward twist. Melania handed Michelle a signature Tiffany & Co. box tied with a white ribbon. Michelle appeared momentarily caught off guard as she accepted the gift, unsure of where to put it. With cameras flashing and Donald already moving forward to greet Barack, Michelle turned to look for assistance. Barack quickly stepped in, handing the box to a staff member to resolve the situation. The brief moment, while innocent, sparked a wave of internet commentary. Many praised Michelle for handling the awkward exchange with her trademark poise, while others poked fun at the apparent lack of protocol for such gifts. One viral tweet jokes, "Michelle handled that Tiffany box like a pro." Meanwhile, Trump is halfway to the door without even looking back. Critics used the incident to highlight the perceived lack of coordination and planning by the incoming administration, while defenders of the Trumps argued it was a thoughtful gesture that didn't warrant criticism. Though the exchange lasted only a few seconds, it became one of the most talked-about moments of the day. For Melania, it was yet another instance where her small actions became a focal point. And for the internet, it was an opportunity to create another flood of memes and lighthearted commentary. 11. The Rose Garden renovation backlash. Fast forward to August 22, 2020, when Melania unveiled her highly anticipated renovation of the White House Rose Garden. The redesign, which was intended to modernize the space and honor its history, sparked significant backlash as soon as the first photos were released. One of the most controversial changes was the removal of the historic cherry blossom trees, which had been a staple of the garden's aesthetic since the Kennedy administration. Critics lamented the perceived loss of color and vibrancy, with some describing the new design as cold and lifeless. Social media users didn't hold back, with one comment reading, "She turned a national treasure into a concrete courtyard." Supporters of Melania defended the changes, pointing out that the renovation included practical upgrades, such as better drainage and improved accessibility for people with disabilities. They argued that the redesign was in line with the garden's original intentions, which prioritized functionality alongside beauty. Still, the backlash persisted. Many viewed the changes as symbolic of the broader criticism of the Trump administration, removing cherished traditions in favor of more clinical and impersonal approaches. Melania, for her part, addressed the controversy briefly, thanking her team for their work and emphasizing the importance of preserving the garden for future generations. While the Rose Garden renovation was intended to be a crowning achievement of Melania's legacy as First Lady, it ended up becoming a divisive moment that added to her complex public image. For some, it was a thoughtful modernization. For others, it was a metaphor for her perceived detachment from the nation's cultural and historical sentiments. 12. The "I really don't care" jacket. On June 21, 2018, Melania Trump visited a Texas facility housing migrant children who had been separated from their families at the U.S.-Mexico border. The visit was meant to shed light on her concern for the children and to soften public perception amidst growing criticism of the administration's immigration policies. However, it wasn't her visit that made headlines, it was her wardrobe. As she boarded her plane in Washington, D.C., Melania was photographed wearing a green Zara jacket emblazoned with bold white letters reading, I really don't care, do you? The choice of jacket, particularly given the sensitive nature of her trip, ignited a media firestorm. Critics quickly labeled it tone-deaf, accusing her of being indifferent to the plight of the children she was visiting. Social media erupted with the hashtag #IReallyDoCare trending within hours. One tweet read, "Imagine visiting children in detention centers and thinking this is the outfit to wear." Even some of her supporters struggled to defend the choice, admitting the optics were poor. Melania's communications team initially dismissed the controversy, claiming it was just a jacket with no hidden message. However, days later, Donald Trump contradicted the statement, tweeting that the message on the jacket was directed at the fake news media. The conflicting explanations only added fuel to the fire, leaving many to speculate about the true intent behind the choice. The "I really don't care" jacket became one of the defining moments of Melania's tenure as First Lady. For some, it symbolized a lack of awareness. For others, it was an intentional provocation. Regardless of the intent, the backlash overshadowed the purpose of her trip, turning what could have been a compassionate gesture into one of the most controversial incidents of her public life. 13. The RNC Rose Garden speech. On August 25, 2020, Melania delivered a speech during the Republican National Convention. Unusually, the event took place in the White House Rose Garden, a location traditionally reserved for official, nonpartisan events. This controversial choice immediately raised eyebrows and sparked debates about the use of government property for political purposes. Standing at the podium surrounded by the recently renovated garden, Melania delivered a polished speech that focused on family values and her husband's leadership. While her delivery was poised and measured, the setting itself became the center of attention. Critics argued that holding a partisan event on federal property blurred the lines between governance and campaigning. One commentator noted, "The Rose Garden isn't a campaign stage, it's a symbol of American history." Social media users were quick to react, pointing out the irony of delivering a speech about unity in a space that had been the subject of so much division just weeks earlier. Memes circulated, showing side-by-side comparisons of the lush pre-renovation garden and the cleaner, more minimalist version that served as Melania's backdrop. Supporters of the Trumps praised Melania for her composure and the content of her speech, arguing that critics were unfairly nitpicking. However, the event added another layer of controversy to the First Lady's already complex legacy. The RNC Rose Garden speech epitomized the tension between Melania's role as a ceremonial figure and the unavoidable politics of her position. While she remained calm and collected on stage, the backlash surrounding the event served as a reminder of how polarizing her time as First Lady had become. 14. The debate snub. On October 22, 2020, during the final presidential debate between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, an awkward interaction between Melania and Donald once again made headlines. After the debate concluded, the candidates' families joined them on stage. As Donald approached Melania, she offered a brief, polite clap before seemingly pulling her hand away as he reached for it. The moment, captured from multiple angles, appeared to show Melania avoiding physical contact with her husband in a highly public setting. Social media erupted with reactions, with one user tweeting, "Melania's clap said more than words ever could." Another quipped, "That hand pull is starting to feel like tradition at this point." Critics used the moment as another example of the couple's lack of chemistry during public appearances, with some even speculating about the state of their relationship. Body language analysts weighed in, suggesting that Melania's reaction might have been subconscious or a sign of discomfort. However, others defended her, arguing that such gestures are often overanalyzed, especially under the scrutiny of countless cameras. The debate stage interaction was far from the first time their body language sparked controversy, but the timing, just weeks before the election, added a layer of significance. As the Trumps exited the stage, commentators noted how the interaction contrasted with the Bidens, who shared a warm embrace and hand-holding moment in front of the cameras. While the debate itself may have been the evening's main focus, this brief yet telling interaction between Melania and Donald provided plenty of material for online discussions. Once again, a single gesture became a symbol of the public fascination with the dynamics of their marriage. 15. The G7 Summit Hand Swat. 1 year earlier, on August 25, 2019, Another memorable moment unfolded during the G7 summit in Biarritz, France. As Donald and Melania Trump joined world leaders for a group photo session, a small but significant interaction between the couple stole the show. Once again, it involved Donald reaching for Melania's hand and her swift refusal to oblige. As the leaders arranged themselves for the photo, Donald extended his hand toward Melania. She, in a move that was both subtle and deliberate, swatted it away before clasping her hands in front of her. The moment was brief, but it was enough to set social media ablaze. One viral tweet quipped, "Melania's hand deserves its own Twitter account at this point." This wasn't the first time the couple's hand-holding dynamics had been scrutinized, and by now, the public had come to expect such moments. Memes comparing the hand swat to earlier instances in Israel and Rome began circulating almost immediately. Some speculated that the repeated rejections were a sign of frustration, while others joked that it was simply a reflex. Body language experts weighed in, offering varying interpretations. Some suggested the gesture reflected Melania's independence, while others argued it revealed underlying tension in their relationship. Regardless of the reasoning, the hand swat moment added another layer to the narrative of their often awkward public interactions. As the G7 summit continued, the focus returned to international diplomacy, but the hand swat video remained a hot topic online. It served as yet another reminder of how even the smallest gestures in the Trump's marriage could spark global conversations. For Melania, it was just another day in the spotlight and another moment immortalized by the internet. With that, we have reached the end of today's video. If you have come this far with us, be sure to check out other videos on the channel.